What's going on, Shadow Fighters? It's Boss Mono right here, and welcome back to yet another video of Shadow Fight Arena news, okay? Because I think this news has already been out like several days ago, probably weeks ago, but I'm still going to be trying to cover that despite that. And man, it's been another day where I have not been adding a video, and for this time I'm actually going to be making this video right here, and after this I will be uploading another video on the way regarding some gameplay, so you guys can check that out. But for now, I want to cover some fresh news because, as per usual, whenever I see something new about the Shadow Fight 3 game or Shadow Fight Arena, I will be going ahead and share the info to you guys so that you guys know yourselves. So, number one, which is actually the whole point of this video right here, is that Shadow Fight Arena has been released on Canada August 14th. Yeah, it's already been released on Canada August 14th. And by the information that we have right here, it is said that it was mainly because Canada has a fitting audience and a fitting place beside their workspace, because Russia and Canada is like, by size and where they are in the world, they are pretty close to each other, although the size of them are big. They're like big countries, although Russia is like very big while Canada is medium big. Okay, mediocre kind of size of country, let me say that way, okay? And despite that, it's gonna create remoteness. If anyone wants to join elsewhere, let's say if everyone wants to join through the Canada servers using VPN, because they did for a fact mention that, but I'm gonna be going back to that. Firstly, the Shadow Fight Arena has now been released in Canada, and that means that anyone who are in Canada can actually get this game straightforward and actually start to play it on Google Play and App Store. And also, one note is that the progress will remain in there. The progress will actually remain saved until global release. So apparently, for you guys, for some of players who might be thinking that the game progress on this version released on Canada is not gonna be actually carrying over to the global version. Yes, it is going to be carried over to the global version. So further on this number one though, because it was 4 notes right here, and I have my little note phone in front, let me tell you that. So they said that this release is complete and has the ability to make payments. That's also part reason why I was mentioning that the progress will be carried over to the global release, because now the progress is there, the progress is finished, and the payments can be shipped off. So this is basically the first version that they just wanted to create and finish for, and we have yet to see what's going to be happening after that. So the progress, all the payments, all the progress that you do will remain until global release. Yes, I've already said it 3, 4, 5 times, and players who actually participate in the CBT will not be affected by these kinds of processes. I guess that means that the CBT players are not going to be affected, not interconnected with Canadian players who have this. I think those CBT players who actually have this is actually going to get the progress set. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's actually what I'm thinking, because it's a closed beta test of another version, whereas the finalized first version that the developers have made and released in Canada may have a different icon and may have already a set description and anything, whilst the beta version was sent through a specific application that is specifically designed for beta testing, and so the legend goes by about that. So number 3, we finally get to the VPN, right? So for players who use VPN, and this is also one thing, for players who use VPN, they're apparently going to get their game restored in that server, and if they want to get that progress, if they happen to get their username or any kind of progress method into the game, their progress method or progress media, it's going to be saved in the server, which means if you want to get that progress map, they basically try to explain, if you want to try to get the progress back, you have to use the VPN and actually get it. Although the disadvantages of VPN is the developers have selected this Canadian country for a reason, And that is because Canada is a pretty remote place, so if anyone else would try to join and compromise, well, not really compromise, but just overfill in a way by the developers, overfill developers' plot servers, then they're not gonna have an easy time trying to find PvP, because the main point why people want to play Shadowfly Arena is because of the PvP aspect. People want to play against other players, and they play it with their own characters. That's what they want. That's basically what they want. They want to play against other characters. Some people are already been waiting too long for their own part, and therefore I'm not really surprised that these people may have already entered the game really early on. So yeah, that is apparently the consequences by that. So if I want to read from this number 3, it says, we also draw your attention to the fact that payments work correctly only if the game was downloaded directly in Canada. If the application was installed via VPN and by other methods, payments will not work. So they don't say it, but I've known that other players, some YouTubers have already mentioned it regarding this kind of information of VPN users. But what you can actually do to actually bypass what they described here is to I already know this, okay, you can actually switch region of your user, which sounds very sinister in a way. It's like you try to ghostly travel to Canada for getting the account. You can basically switch region of your account to that specific Canada country, get the app, and then you get back and then use the VPN. If you do that, you still get the same result. You still get the result that I was talking about, that your progress will be saved over to those Canadian servers, because Neki doesn't provide any service for other countries, and that's going to be your issue whenever you get to the full release. Because another thing to add up was from another guy, although unfortunately I can't remember who that was, what kind of media it was, but it was actually said that if you do that, you're gonna have a consequence of having a hard time, as I said. But how Shadowfight Arena servers will work is that the PvP, the matching that you're gonna be matching with is gonna be regional. It's gonna be within the country, within one region. So it's gonna have different regions. They're not gonna have merged all together in one server, because I think that way for them it's gonna be expensive and also really laggy. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what I think about that. I haven't known that much of programming yet, but I do have some programming in my mind, and also have some ideas of thinking how the servers work and how do you manage servers. That's what I'm thinking. So you're not going to be facing players who live in America if you are, for example, living in Norway like I do, and you're basically going to probably face British players, maybe players in your own country, maybe French players, and so the legend goes by. This is the real deal, because the developers want a fully fledged PvP game where everyone can fight against each other. Now that's ironically said, because by that I mean players within the region can fight against each other, not everyone, as of everyone in the world can fight each other. That the developers need probably very strong servers to actually interconnect together all the networks by the Shadowfight Arena players to even be able to queue up and select players who will be fighting whenever they get on, and another player gets on, they try to search, and the queue list goes by, spins around, try to find players, and then the players find each other from remote places to players who may be living one side and another in the world. So that is the one thing that I have to think about. So yeah, and as it says in number 4 right here, we chose Canada as the first country to open the application for a reason. This is a standard practice for launching any application. There is a suitable infrastructure and audience size in here in order to make the final check of the game in regular mode before the global launch around the world. Just remember that the developers have said the release is going to be later this year, and I actually thought that the developers is going to be putting some beta waves, some final waves, and as for my understanding, I think the global release, not global release, I think the full release in Canada is what the developers have meant right now. That's what I think the developers have meant with this beta waves, those final waves before the actual release. So, what do you guys think? Maybe the developers are close to release the game. Maybe not. Maybe not really. Maybe it's gonna be taking a little bit later. Just remember, nothing of this affects their work because the developers are divided into specific teams that are working on Shadowfight 3. So none of this is gonna affect each other's work. Not Shadowfight Arena, not Shadowfight 3, because they mainly focus on whatever thing that is actually important for them. Both of the teams are actually focusing what's important for the games on their respective manner, on their respective jobs, to say the least. And that's pretty much all the news I gotta be covering for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this monologue right here. I know it's just been screening me talking without any text, but I hope you guys still buried it out. And if you guys did and still did enjoy this news feed shared by me as a monologue to you guys, be sure to hit that like button to show some support. And if you're new and enjoy my overall content, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll become a part of the Blossom modding community. And we're going to be running some more games. Alright, we have the Blossom Festival, and I already ran 2 videos, and I'm definitely going to be running more, starting off with Waste of the Legion. That's the only spoiler I get, and until then, I'll catch you guys in another one.